2020 NASCAR Xfinity Mustang launch. It's my pleasure to bring up the Global Director of Ford Performance Motorsports, Mark Rushford.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here this morning to kick off Ford's involvement with Woodward. This is a really big deal for us. And I think we've got a lot of exciting things for you, not just with the racing Mustangs, but also with the rest of the stable out here. For me, I've got to admit, just a side note, that I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania, always loving and appreciating small cars, and especially fast cars. So to be here, to be working for Ford Motor Company, to be able to come to events like this, I pinch myself every day. It's pretty cool. So it's the 21st year that we've had Mustang Alley. It's really important for the company, important for Team Mustang. And as part of Ford Performance, we're delighted to be involved and part of it. And that's what we're going to tell you about today with the racing Mustangs that we have. So I think you all know that Mustang is the best-selling sports car in the world. It went global with the S550 platform, and it's dominated for these last 4 years, and it's been a tremendous success. And about two and a half years ago, we took the decision that we wanted to do the same thing with our racing cars, that where possible, we wanted to switch our racing cars to be Mustangs. It made the most sense for us. And you've seen that transition happen with the Mustang GT4 a couple years ago, but in the last 12 months, we have introduced 4 new Mustangs already. And I can walk through those very quickly. In NHRA, the 50th anniversary for the Cobra Jet in the Sportsman class. Those have been built and shipped to customers this year and has had success on the track. A year ago, in NASCAR, we switched from our Fusion to Mustang as well. So we had a similar event down in Dearborn where we introduced this new Mustang at the highest level in NASCAR, and that was a really big deal for us to have it at that level. Beyond that, we then going global with our racing, just like we did with the street car versions of the Mustang. We went to Australia Supercar, where we had been racing the Falcon, and it made so much sense with our teams over there, with Ford of Australia, with Mustang selling so well in Australia, that we switched in Virgin Australia Supercars also to the Mustang, with great success, great reception by all the fans over there. And then the final one was in NHRA Funny Car, where we had not updated that car for almost 10 years and updated that to a new modern interpretation of the Mustang and have had that on track. So those 4 new cars are joining what's in the center as the Mustang GT4, which is also able to race globally. Given the SRO homologation for that car, we've got cars racing in Europe in the British GT4 series, obviously here in the US in a couple series, and even one over in Australia. So a really nice family of Mustangs going global, just like we do with the street version of the Mustang. Now, most important, we race to win, and all of these Mustangs have secured wins this year, with 7 wins in Cup. In Australia Supercar, we've had 17 wins out of 20 races, so not quite perfect, but pretty happy with that performance. Wins in Mustang GT4, including in the British GT4 series, Sportsman and Bob Taskett bringing us 2 wins in NHRA Funny Car. So fantastic performance for these cars, for these Mustangs on track. And what enables that success is the people, the teams, the drivers that race these cars at the track. They put 100%, more than 100% behind the racing effort, and it shows in their results. And that's important. And we've got a very passionate Ford Performance team that engineers these cars, that works with those race teams. We've got great support from our senior executives within the company for what we're doing in racing, and that's important. Beyond the people, there's also engineering resources, buildings, engineering tools, computational tools. And the picture that we have here shows we opened our Ford Performance Tech Center in North Carolina in 2014. And that has been instrumental to the design and development of cars like this, but also to the success on the racetrack. So in that tech center, we have 2 60-degree of freedom driving simulators that we use to apply to racing to make the cars faster. We have a scale model for aerodynamics development. and CFD, computational fluid for dynamics, for aerodynamics development. And all of these tools that we're using and applying to create these cars and race these cars, those are the same tools that we're using also for our street cars as well. So some of the cars that are coming out that you see today, like the GT 500 with a mule here and a production version over the other side of the building, we have used the driving simulator at the Ford Performance Tech Center to work on the development of those cars instead of prototypes, and also new sport utilities are going to see coming out, all electric vehicles as well. So that is part of our mission, to share what we learn in racing to make our road cars better. So that is really important for us. So we've got this great family of Mustangs already in Xfinity, which we'll show you here in a few minutes. We've had a Mustang since 2009. We unveiled it, started racing in 2010, part-time, and then full-time in 2011, but we had not updated that car since then. And it was important for us to put some more brand identity in it and put a little bit more speed in it as well. So we used the same people, the same tools to update the car. Great relationship with our design studio to put that character in it. Great relationship with our racing teams to make sure we put the speed in the right places. And we're really excited about unveiling that today. The other thing that's important is not just our racing teams, but the racing series that we work with. And it's great to partner with NASCAR, as we did with the Cup Mustang a year ago, and now with the Cup Xfinity car, to go through that submission process and to get the car qualified for racing and unveil it. And to help us do that today, I'd like to introduce Ben Kennedy. He's the Managing Director for Racing Operations and International Development for NASCAR, and also the great-grandson of Bill France Sr., founder of NASCAR. So welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. And thank you guys for having me today. It's an honor to be here to help unveil what is the second generation Ford Mustang for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and help kick off the Woodward Dream Cruise. This is pretty cool. I've honestly never heard of it before, but it's pretty neat to see the displays and hear about how big of an event it is. Really excited to see the car today. And I think if you think of the relationship that Ford and NASCAR have had together, it really stems back to the 1950s, and Ford has actually been with us since the inception of the Xfinity Series. And I think I was reading yesterday, 250 wins for Ford in the Xfinity Series as a manufacturer. 8 of them coming this year. And I think it speaks to the level of commitment to competition from Ford and Ford Performance, as well as the dedication to getting to victory lane. I think you just saw that this last weekend as well, out at Michigan Speedway in Brooklyn, with Kevin Harvick rolling into victory lane in the Monster Energy Series. So with that said, looking forward to seeing the car. I haven't seen it in person, so I think you guys will find it pretty neat. And I think it also speaks to the relationship that Ford and NASCAR have together, as well as our other OEMs, to create vehicles that can play on the same equal playing field, but also cars that are relevant. So hopefully what our fans will see here today and what they'll see on the racetrack next year will really show and be relevant to what they see on the showroom floor as well. So I think with that said, looking forward to taking the cover off here and seeing it debut in Daytona next year. So thanks.
All right, so I think we're going to unveil it now. Yeah. You good? Okay. Let's do it. Ready? We haven't practiced.
Oh yeah. Okay.